Pocket Monsters, Liko, and Roy's departure, the first chapter of this new series known as Pokémon Horizons here in the US, just started yesterday with the first two episodes airing as an hour-long special. And I'm here to give my thoughts. I just now watched them. They took a little while to come out, so I know the first episode came out like last night, and the second one came out sometime today. I just now watched the second one. I had watched the first one last night. So I watched the first one twice and the second one I just now watched, I finished 30 minutes ago. So I'm here to give my review, my thoughts. It's a new beginning. Ash was not here. He wasn't referenced at all. Completely new beginning. So I'm here to give my thoughts on that. So let's start with episode 1, The Pendant of Beginnings, part 1. This episode starts off with our new protagonist, Liko. She is enrolled in Indigo Academy, boarding school in the Kanto region. Of course, we're in Kanto for the second time in a row, fourth time overall. And, I kind of wish this was in Paldea because we've seen Kanto like a million times, but that's whatever. What are you going to do? So, so she's introduced as this quiet, kind of shy girl where, we were in her thoughts a lot of the episode. Like, she doesn't really have too much actual dialogue. It's her just thinking, like, we're in her thoughts most of the episode. Because, as she puts it, she wants to say a lot, but, she's afraid of, the outcome. So she just keeps to herself, keeps quiet most of the time. So, yeah. And, we see her get her little room with her roommate Anne. She's the complete opposite of her. And they, all loud, clumsy, all of that. And they hit it off. They're pretty good friends. They become pretty good friends. And then they're in class. She has her first day of class, and she gets her partner Pokemon, and gets Oshawott, and Liko gets Sprigatito, as we already know. Now, Sprigatito doesn't really, I wouldn't say it doesn't like her. It's more of like, it's kind of like Pikachu was with Ash at first, but it's not really as harsh. Like, it's kind of like playful. It's kind of playful. Because, like, it's not really dwelled upon that much, Liko's kind of confused on how to handle Sprigatito, but it's not really like Sprigatito doesn't like her. It's just that it doesn't really understand. It's kind of like she doesn't understand it at first, and it doesn't understand her at first. That's kind of how it is. As opposed to just not liking her at all at first. That's not really how it is. That's not really how it's played out. And then we go through their first little days together, trying to them forming a better bond as the days go by. They even have the first battle with Anne and her Oshawott. They end up losing because, Brigatito doesn't really listen. It goes out and attacks before she gives a command, or Ash gets the command before it even hears it. It tries to attack and loses. So they begin training and all that. So they, start forming a stronger bond. And then we learn about the big thing, Liko's pendant, the thing that sets off this whole adventure. We're introduced throughout the episode. We're introduced to the people that become greater players later in this episode and the second episode. The explorers and the rising Volt Tackles. Those teams that are formally introduced next episode, but we see like them wandering around, we see them wandering around in this episode. So basically, Amethio, the leader of the explorers, comes looking for Liko here, saying that he got a letter from her grandmother telling telling her to hand over the pendant. Basically, that was a lie. He just wanted the pendant. And obviously, Liko and Sprigatito, they notice something's wrong. Sprigatito even, is visibly, it visibly, like, something's off. It knows something's wrong, makes a little face, noises at it. And Liko knows something's wrong, so she basically gets the pendant and leaves. And obviously, they're not going to give up, so it results in a whole thing. And then we're introduced to Freed. He has a very dramatic entrance where he flies in, and they begin a battle, which I think personally is the best part of episode 1, the most exciting. I like the music that plays in this part too. They have their little battle, but it doesn't really last that long, not too long, before Liko and Sprigatito try to get out of there by jumping off of this. They're on the roof of the dorm building, and they jump off trying to get out of there, and that's basically where the episode ends. And we pick up with episode 2, where Freed and his Charizard they save her from falling, and then they retreat to his big CGI ship, which I think looks really good. Like, it's a really good CGI. I really like it, compared to, I don't really think any Poke has really had that much, aside from like the movies, that many CGI things. I know Eternatus last series was entirely CGI most of the time, and that kind of looked weird. So it's good to see. It's good to see how far they've come. It's good to see how far they've come with the CG. So basically, they get on the ship. Liko's confused. He's basically confused for the whole episode. She doesn't really know what's going on at all. Why they're, like, we never really figure out why the Freed's team, the Rising Volt Tacklers, why they're after, how they know who Liko is and all that. We're not really told that yet. We obviously will later on. But the explorers, they're after the pendant. We don't know how they know her at all yet. We're probably gonna find that out soon. So basically, this episode 2, is basically their big confrontation. The Freed's team, they try to, we're introduced to all of them, and they try to get out. There's a big storm, so they're trying to retreat. Try to shake off the explorers who is chasing them down. But they're not fast enough, because the explorers, they make it onto the ship, and Liko, who is seeing all the Pokemon. There's a bunch of Pokemon on the ship. The Pokemon of the various team members. They don't really do too much in this episode, so I won't really get too deep into them until they get a more important role. But their Pokemon, they're visibly distressed by all the chaos that's going on, and she thinks it's all her fault, because they're all after her pendant, so she thinks it's all on her. And then the explorers, Amethio, they get on the ship, and they go towards her. She ends up going with them, because she thinks it's all on her, and she wants to leave, to protect everybody else. Obviously, that's not the truth, and Freed comes to her rescue, and they resume their battle. But this time, Pikachu battles. Captain Pikachu. We're introduced to Pikachu. Of course, Pikachu wasn't going anywhere. I mean, it's the mascot. He's here. But we really see through this battle how different this Pikachu is from Ash's. Entirely different moveset. Voice is different. Well, the voice actor is the same. She just gives a very different performance. Like, we really see how different it is from Ash's. But basically, the battle continues. And it's a really good battle, too. It's, great. Love it. I love the music that played in both battles. In episodes 1 and 2, I love that music. But then, oh, sorry about that, excuse me. Then Liko is still, Liko still thinks this is all on her, like this is all her fault, and still wants to go with them to end this all, because that's all they want is the pendant. But then they realize, oh, you're tied to the pendant, so we're gonna take you too. So she still wants to go with them, but Sprigatito, like, she knows that she doesn't really want to do that. So she like has this moment. She jumps out of her arms and starts, going off like no, no. And she realized, oh, this is not it. This is not what I want. So they the big move they've been practicing, the leafage move. I'm not really entirely sure what that's called in English. I think it might be the same, it might not. But leafage, they do the big move, and it sets off a big like flurry. Everybody starts going. No, I think it's that move. I think it's just the wind of the storm that sets everybody. Everybody starts sliding everywhere. But that move, made everybody like, I don't know what the word is, but it stunned everybody, basically stunned them. And then, caught in the crossfire, Sprigatito ends up kidnapped. It ends up, Freed saves Liko, but he wasn't able to save Sprigatito. So at the end of episode 2, he ends up, Amethio and his crew end up kidnapping Sprigatito, and that sets off episode 3. I don't know if the conflict's gonna continue on to episode 4. It might end with 3. We'll see. So the recaps. So that's basically episode 1 and 2. I missed a few details I'm already thinking of, like the pendant. In the end of episode 1, the pendant went off when they were jumping off of the building. In episode 2, being at the beginning of episode 2, it revealed there's a Pokemon in the pendant. I'm not totally sure what the Pokemon's name is right now. I gotta go look. I'm not sure, but a Pokemon's in the pendant. So yeah, that's one. And then there's the recurring appearance of the Nito thing, the little YouTube star, not YouTube in this world, but it's basically a parody on streamers and YouTubers, all that, and she gives a bunch of exposition stuff, talks about Pokemon battles, trainers, typings, and all that stuff, and narrates the previews and all that stuff. So she'll probably be recurring. She is recurring. And we'll probably do things like that, talk to, give Pokemon trainer exposition and stuff like that in the form of these little videos, little vlogs. So what did I think? I think this was a pretty good start. It had me hooked. It did have me hooked by the second episode, and I was like, oh my God, it's already over. I wanted to see what's gonna happen next, so I'm hooked. I want to see what's gonna happen next. I will be watching, and let's get into the art and animation. I think the art style is the same as the last series, Journeys, which was good because if it's not broke, don't fix it. So it was mostly like the animation was mostly like, it was fine. Nothing too big until like the battles happened and the big moments, the battle with what's his name? Freed and Amethio. It looked really good, of course. And their second battle looked really good, and the big moments with Liko and Sprigatito, the ones in episode 1 and 2, the two big ones, like them jumping off the roof, and them and her and Sprigatito finally using the move effectively. Those are looked really good too. Those are the four standout scenes I can remember. So, was this a good start? Definitely a good start. Had me hooked. I do recommend y'all tune in. I do recommend it because it is a good start. I'm definitely going to be watching or reviewing the rest of the series all the way through. And yeah, let's also talk about the opening theme. The opening theme played at the end of episode 2, kind of like Journeys, where the opening theme played at the end of episode 1. And I think it's really catchy. Like, I really like it. I think, I'm really, if something about me, I'm really obsessed with all of the Pokemon themes, the Japanese ones and the English ones. I know all of them. And I think I'll probably do the same with this one. I find it really catchy. And yeah, it's probably going to grow on me, and I'll probably be obsessed with it in a few months. So I really like it. I really like the animation for it. The visuals, they all look really good. It shows everybody's personalities very well. And yeah, not introduced to Roy just yet. I'm not sure when. Maybe next episode, maybe episode 4, something like that. But yeah, we've not been introduced to him yet. But yeah, basically, this is a very good start. Loved, episode 1, I thought it was all right. It was a slow start, but it made sense for the character. They're not really like outgoing like that, so we don't get that kind of vibe until the very end. So the episode's, if I had to rate it, I'll probably rate it like a 7.5 out of 10, 8, 10, 8, 7, 7, 8 out of 10. It's good. It's slow, but it's fine because, the character is slow. And I really relate to Liko, her struggles with, not really knowing how to say things. I relate to that, so I really liked the episode. And then episode 2, I'll say is around, an 8.5. The episode was a lot more action-packed, not as slow as episode 1, but it's good. It's really good too. I enjoyed it a little better. I liked the little ending. I liked the twist. Not the twist, not really a twist, but I liked the cliffhanger ending. I really liked it, and it got me excited for the next episode. And I was entertained by the Nito thing. I really liked her little moments throughout these episodes. Oh yeah, there's also a funny moment in episode 2. Besides the battles and stuff, probably my favorite moment where Liko realizes the situation and is like, am I the character in the story? Am I the heroine in the story? I thought that was a funny little fourth wall break. So yeah, that's episodes 1 and 2 of Pokemon 2023. Pokemon Horizons. Let me know what y'all think. I'm really excited for how this series is gonna go. I'm really excited for what's to come. I will be tuning in. I hope y'all tune in too. Keep watching, because I know I will. So that's all for me. Catch you on the next one.